I told you half of the world's biggest stars could have been playing in the Premier League right now, but walked away just weeks before turning pro. Gordon Ramsay was not supposed to become the most feared chef on television. He was supposed to become a footballer. Long before the Michelin stars, before Hell's Kitchen, before the shouting and the fire, a teenage Gordon Ramsay was a talented midfielder growing up in Scotland and later Stratford-upon-Avon. Football wasn't a hobby. It was the plan. At 15, Ramsay earned a trial with Rangers. For a Scottish teenager, that's not just exciting, that's the dream. Rangers are giants. If you're good enough to even get into that environment, you're operating at a serious level. Ramsay has said he trained with the club and believed he was on the pathway. But then came the moment that changes so many football stories. Injury. A serious knee injury derailed everything. The dream didn't slowly fade, it was ripped away. And that competitive fire that would have gone into tackles and 50-50 challenges, it went into food instead. You can almost see it. The obsession, the standards, the intolerance for mistakes. The way he demands perfection, that isn't just chef behavior. Ramsay didn't just miss out on being a pro. He redirected that same drive into another arena and became world-class there instead. Robbie Williams' story is different. Less about injury, more about crossroads. Football wasn't just fandom for him. He played at a competitive level and was serious about it. But music came calling at exactly the right time. Take That exploded and the fork in the road appeared. Choose uncertain lower league football or global pop stardom. He chose music. But here's the thing. Unlike many celebrities who say they could have gone pro, Robbie has consistently shown genuine football ability. He co-founded Soccer Aid and has played alongside former professionals without looking completely out of place. His touch, movement awareness, it's clear he spent serious years playing properly. There's a version of reality where Robbie Williams is grinding in League One instead of headlining Nebworth. Instead of platinum records, maybe he's chasing promotion playoffs. Now, before he was James Bond, before the tuxedo, before the iconic Bond, James Bond, Sean Connery was a physically imposing young man in Edinburgh who played for Bunny Rick Rose. He wasn't just turning up, he was a powerful athlete. Reportedly offered a trial with Manchester United during the Matt Busby era. Imagine that, the future 007 lining up at Old Trafford in the 1950s. The story goes that Busby saw something in him physically, but questioned whether Connery truly loved football enough. And that question matters. Talent is one thing, obsession is another. Connery chose a different stage. Steve Nash is perhaps the most technically gifted footballer on this list. Yes, the two-time NBA MVP. Growing up in Canada, Nash was obsessed with football. He played at a high youth level and was genuinely elite for his age group. His vision, spatial awareness, and passing creativity weren't developed on a basketball court first. They were shaped on a football pitch. Nash has openly said that if he had stayed in England where he was born, instead of moving to Canada, he believes he could have pursued football professionally. Basketball offered clearer pathways in North America, and Nash took it. But technically, he might be the most naturally gifted footballer that never was on this list. And then there's Rod Stewart. There was a teenage Rod Stewart trailing with Brentford. He wasn't just a fan, he was invited for trials as a youngster and trained with the club. Brentford weren't a glamorous giant at the time, but they were a serious professional outfit. If you're getting that opportunity, you're not average. In later interviews, Stewart admitted he didn't think he was quite good enough, and maybe didn't have the ruthless dedication required. That self-awareness is rare. Many celebrities inflate their football stories. Stewart doesn't. Instead, he poured that charisma and showmanship into music, but he never lost his love for the game. He's remained deeply involved as a fan and still talks about football with the passion of someone who once believed it would define his life. Before he was Spider-Man, Tom Holland was just another football-obsessed kid in North London, a die-hard sports fan. But this wasn't just playground football. Holland reportedly trained within Tottenham's development system as a youngster. He wasn't just kicking a ball around, and here's the thing. In London academies, the standards are brutal. Thousands try, only a handful survive each stage. To even be inside that environment means you were considered serious. But Holland made a decision early. Acting started picking up. Billy Elliot auditions happened, and suddenly the path split in two. Academy football or theater school. He chose the stage. Fast forward a decade, and instead of playing in the North London Derby, he's headlining billion-dollar Marvel films. Imagine the alternate universe where Tom Holland is overlapping down the wing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Football lost a player. Hollywood gained Spider-Man. Ed Sheeran grew up obsessed with Ipswich Town. But more than that, he played competitive football as a kid. He wasn't academy elite level, but he trained seriously and dreamed of it. And now, he's a shirt sponsor of Ipswich Town, invested in the club, plays at Portman Road, sits with the players. Again, football found a way back into his life. That's the theme here. They don't really leave the game. They just interact with it differently. Now, this one hurts if you're from South London. Stormzy wasn't just kicking ball for fun. He played youth football seriously growing up. Strong, technical, competitive edge. And if you've ever watched him at charity matches, especially at Soccer Aid, you know he can play. There are stories that he had genuine potential in his teens, but music became the lane. Grime exploded, and instead of playing under floodlights at Selhurst Park, he's headlining Glastonbury. What's interesting is how many elite athletes say the same thing. Music and football often compete for the same kids. Stormzy chose the mic, but the footballer in him never fully disappeared. This one sounds like satire, but it's not. Before becoming a comedy icon, Will Ferrell was a serious high school soccer player in California. Not academy level in England, of course, but in the US system, he played competitively and even considered athletic pathways. Ferrell has spoken about how much he loved the game. Now, here's the twist. Instead of pursuing football, he ended up becoming part owner of LAFC. So in a strange way, he still made it to professional football, just not on the pitch. From striker to shareholder. That might be the smartest pivot of all. Now, this one feels almost criminal. Before One Direction, Niall Horan was playing competitive football in Ireland. He wasn't just a fan, he was serious. He played at youth level and was reportedly scouted by clubs, including interest connected to English lower league pathways. Horan was openly admitted that football was his first love, not music. Football. He dreamed of going pro, but then X Factor happened, and in 2010, instead of signing a football contract, he signed with Simon Cowell. Within 2 years, he was performing in front of 60,000 people a night. He didn't lose the ability, he just chose the microphone. Here's the bigger picture. Thousands of kids enter academies every year. Less than 1% become professionals. The margins are brutal. Sometimes the kid who doesn't quite make it becomes a star somewhere else because the traits that make elite athletes, discipline, competitiveness, obsession, translate into music, into film, into business. Football wasn't the end goal. It was the training ground.